Today we are going to study summary procedure, and summary procedure is a special procedure under the civil procedure rules, uh, whereby a plaintiff can bring a case in court, especially if it includes a claim of money that is not disputed. This procedure is catered for under Order 36 of the Civil Procedure Rules. You should also note that this is one of the modes of instituting a suit, and under this process, a suit can actually be concluded without trial. Um, so, under the summary procedure, obviously, you realize that in most cases, uh, the case will end without necessarily having to go for trial, especially if the defendant does not secure leave to file their defense, as we shall see in the discussion. So, the procedure is provided for under Order 36, Rule 3 of the Civil Procedure Rules. And in essence, the plaintiff actually states that the defendant has no defense to the claim, and that is the basis upon which the court can act, especially if the claim is well stated and proved. Under this procedure, the plaintiff does not need to call a witness to support his or her claim, and where the defendant does not apply to court to defend the suit, the plaintiff is entitled to a summary judgment, and where the defendant applies to court to defend himself, especially if they are denying the claim, then in that case, the court has to go ahead and listen to the application for leave to appear and defend. It's actually called the application for unconditional leave to appear and defend. Now, under this procedure, the plaintiff does not need to call any witnesses to support his or her claim, and where the defendant does not apply for leave to file and defend, then the court can go ahead and actually grant what we call a default judgment. Now, Order 36, Rule 1 states that the order shall apply to the High Court and all magistrates' courts, and this means that the order also applies to courts which are managed by chief magistrates and magistrates grade 1, because these are the courts that apply the civil procedure rules. A common authority, Nakabango Society versus Changa, court held that civil procedure rules which provide for summary procedure are not applicable to courts which are presided over by magistrates grade 2 and magistrates grade 3. Obviously, in our jurisdiction in Uganda, you will note that the system is doing away with the magistrates grade 2, and currently we don't have magistrates grade 3. So always take note of those nitty-gritties of that order. Now, Order 36, Rule 2, it provides that all suits where the plaintiff seeks only to recover a debt or a liquidated demand in money payable by the defendant with or without interest arising upon a contract express or implied, as for instance in the bill of exchange, a hundi, a contract, a promissory note, a check or otherwise, or on a bond, a contract written for payment of a liquidated amount of money, on guarantee where the claim against the principal is in respect of a debt or a liquidated sum of money, on trust or upon a debt to government for income tax, being actions for recovery of land with or without a claim of rent or men's profits by a landlord against a tenant whose term has expired or has been duly determined by notice to quit or has become liable to forfeiture for non-payment of rent, or against a person claiming under the tenant may by option of the plaintiff be instituted by presenting complaint in form prescribed summary procedure under Order 36, and it must be accompanied by an affidavit. Now, you will realize under this order that for one to qualify to bring a case under summary procedure, there must be a liquidated demand. A liquidated demand means they are demanding cash. They are demanding cash. It could be out of breach of contract, it could be a claim for rent, or it could be a claim for land, recovery of land, especially if that person is claiming for men's profits. Now, when you look at the case of Maruku Interglobal versus Bank of Uganda, 1985 HCB, at page 65, it was held that under Order 33, currently it is Order 36, Rule 2 of the Civil Procedure Act, it envisages actions for recovery of land, rent, men's profits, where the relationship of a tenant and a landlord exists or had existed, as a right of each of the parties would be clearly spelled out depending on the nature of the tenancy. So, those are the circumstances under which a person can bring a case under Order 36. Key points to note. Number one, it is a claim for liquidated demand. A liquidated demand means the person is demanding for money. Men's profits means if someone has been using your land, but they have not paid for using that land, the men's profits means that amount which you would have been earning if you were the one using that land. So, claim for money, recovery of men's profits, or it could even be out of breach of contract. So note that under summary procedure, you do not need to bring witnesses. Number two, the defendant must be served properly. And number three, the defendant does not have an automatic right to defend themselves unless they seek leave of court to do so.